Today, we're checking out the Obsbot Tail Air, a compact PTZ camera that's packed with features and aimed at streamers and content creators. Here's a quick backstory. I owned one of Obsbot's original 4K webcams. This is the Obsbot 4K web camera a couple of years back and was genuinely impressed by the image quality and AI tracking, so this is a nice step up. Now, full disclosure, Obsbot sponsored today's video, but I'll be giving you my honest thoughts on where this camera shines and where I think it might fall short. We'll go over the specs, the app features, and 3 usage cases where I think this camera could be a solid option. If you're a budget-conscious streamer, an on-the-go creator, or need a flexible PTZ setup, there's a lot to explore here. Let's kick things off with the basics. The Obsbot Tail Air is a 4K PTZ camera with both USB-C and micro HDMI outputs, which isn't something that you often see in compact cameras like this one. This dual output means that you can connect it directly to your computer via USB for a quick setup, or you can use the HDMI if you want to integrate it into a more complex rig. It's also NDI HX3 compatible, so you can connect it over a wired or wireless network, which is great if you're setting up multiple cameras in different areas. Okay, so just to show you how easy it is to set these up, I've come to a hotel room where I just have my 2 Obsbot cameras. So I'm gonna pull this one out. We're gonna boot this up. We just press and hold the button on the back for a couple of seconds. That one's now booting up. Boom. I've got the second one here. And if I had some tripods, I could put these on tripods, but just to give you an idea, this is how quick it is. Press and hold, boot this guy up. Boom, this one's booting up. So I now have 2 cameras here, and then if I just take my remote, I can remotely start the recording and I can point the cameras wherever I need to go. If I wanted to, I could connect them to my computer and stream that way, but just knowing that I can set these up and then use the gestures while I'm on the go makes this so much easier. The camera's f1.8 aperture and 2 micron sized pixels allow it to capture decent light and detail, especially for its size. Now, any camera of this size will struggle in low light compared to larger sensor cameras, but the Tail Air holds its own pretty well in normal conditions. And let's be real, if you're live streaming, you want good lighting anyways to get the best shot possible. One thing I noticed was how much control the Obsbot desktop app actually gives you. You can adjust everything from exposure and white balance to pan and tilt and zoom settings. I'll be honest, it was almost overwhelming at first just seeing all the customization options, but I'm excited to dig deeper into these. Just note that it might take some time to get familiar with everything, especially if you're new to all these camera settings. So let's dive into a few real-world usage cases where I think the Obsbot Tail Air could really shine. I've picked 3 setups that range from budget-friendly to flexible options for more complex setups. First up, let's talk about the budget PTZ camera setup. With 2 Obsbot Tail Air units, you're looking at around $1,000 for a complete multi-camera rig ready to stream in 4K. While that might sound like an investment, when you compare the feature set here, it's tough to find cameras that offer similar functionality at this price without jumping into mirrorless camera options. Each camera has USB-C and HDMI outputs, so you can connect directly to your computer and start streaming with OBS, Ecamm, Zoom, or Restream Studio. Just remember to toggle on the UVC setting in the Obsbot software. Now, once you have UVC enabled on your Obsbot cameras, it's actually quite simple. If you wanted to stream, you can open up Zoom, and let me go to my Zoom settings. Under the video tab, I can choose my Obsbot Tail Air. Hey, you can see me. Hi there, little Obsbot. And I've got my little remote control over here that's charging, so I can use that smart remote control to move it around, or I could use hand gestures. So I've got a few different gestures, like the zoom in feature is like an L. And I can do all of that from right here, or I could even enable the person tracking feature on the remote, and then it should just find me. And then once that's enabled, it will follow me wherever I move. Super, super cool. Now let's say that you're not going to Zoom and you are going to something like OBS. Well, guess what? I can open up OBS here and take a new scene. So there's nothing in it yet. We'll hit the plus sign in sources. I'm going to go to video capture device. I'll hit OK, and I will select the Obsbot Tail Air camera. And our preset right now is set to high. We could bring it in at a full 4K resolution, and then we'll hit OK. And now I've got it here. It's just really, really big. So I have to use that transform setting, and we're going to fit it to our screen. So we'll hit fit to screen, and boom, hey, there we are. So now I've got it on OBS, and I could go live from here, add in all of my graphics, or I could even switch in a second camera, which I've got right here. All we would do is go back into OBS here, add a second video capture device, and then we're switching and we're in business and we can live stream. I'm doing this all from a hotel room, so it's super, super easy. And I've got my handy little remote here to make it all happen. USB-C is great for simplicity, but keep in mind that it limits how far the camera can be from your computer due to the cable length. Obsbot thought this through and added HDMI micro output, which can be converted to SDI or HDMI fiber for those longer cable runs. However, if you're using SDI or other pro level connections, you may need additional higher end equipment to manage everything. For audio, there's a 3.5mm input, so you can feed sound directly into your stream, which is a really nice touch for board meetings, smaller events, or high school sports. And if you need full 360-degree coverage, Obsbot also offers a rotation dock as an accessory. Next, let's look at this from the perspective of a creator or small business owner who needs a simple portable streaming setup. I often get inquiries from clients looking for more affordable live streaming options, but they're surprised by the cost of a full production setup. I know some of my colleagues who offer budget-friendly packages, sometimes even just offering up a smartphone. The Obsbot Tail Air can be a great alternative for that type of setup, providing a compact and easy-to-pack rig that's much more capable than a smartphone. With the optional smart remote, you can control the camera from a distance, or you can rely on the built-in AI tracking to follow a presenter. This setup is perfect for smaller events like business conferences or even weddings where a larger camera setup might be intrusive. Plus, the whole rig is small enough to fit in a backpack or travel case, making it ideal for creators who need flexibility on the go. For the final usage case, think about streamers or content creators who already have a main camera but need additional angles for a more dynamic setup. You could place the Obsbot Tail Air at the edge of a stage for audience reaction shots, or position it in the back of a room for a wide view without a huge footprint. The software lets you adjust image settings to match the look of your other cameras so it blends in seamlessly. And if you're streaming outside, Obsbot also offers optional ND filters, which come in ND4, ND8, ND16, and ND32 strengths. These filters let you control how much light hits the sensor without losing that bright f1.8 aperture, which is useful for maintaining image quality in really bright conditions. Now let's talk briefly about the Obsbot Tail Air Smart Remote. This optional accessory connects up to 3 Obsbot Tail Air units, giving you PTZ control with a joystick. It's pretty intuitive, and you've got everything from zoom and focus to preset positions. There's even a Wii-style feature where you simply just press and hold the joystick, and you can move the camera by simply just moving your hand around while holding that remote. It's handy for making quick adjustments. Battery life on the remote is solid too, with around 10 to 15 hours on a single charge, depending on your usage, and it recharges using a USB-C cable. Before wrapping up, let's highlight a few other features. Unlike most compact cameras that stick with USB-C only, the Tail Air also offers HDMI and NDI outputs, making it one of the more flexible options in this price range. One caution though, if you're a hand talker just like me, just be careful with the gesture controls, as it's easy to trigger certain functions by accident, but you can turn those off within the Obsbot software. Obsbot also recently launched the Talent, an all-in-one device that combines an encoder, switcher, monitor, and recorder, so if you're looking to create a fully portable kit, the Talent might be worth a look.
So what's missing? Well, the biggest thing would be optical zoom, but given the size of this unit, that's really understandable, as PTZ cameras with optical zoom are usually much larger to accommodate for that lens and all of the pieces inside that camera. In terms of image quality, the tail air does pretty well, especially with good lighting, as you can see right here in this shot. With the f1.8 aperture and those 2-micron size pixels, it's definitely a step up from most webcams. Just remember, lighting makes all the difference. So if you're serious about streaming, invest in a well-lit setup, and this camera will perform nicely. Would I recommend the Obsbot Tail Air? Absolutely, for the right user. If you're a beginner streamer, a mobile creator, or just need additional angles on a budget, the Obsbot Tail Air is a versatile and feature-rich option. I've linked both the Obsbot Tail Air and the Smart Remote in the description down below this video if you want to check them out. Thanks so much for watching, and if you found this helpful, hit that like button, subscribe for more gear reviews, and let me know in the comments section if you have any questions or unique usage cases for the Obsbot Tail Air. See you in the next video.